Hello, Ijao Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couples therapist. Today, we'll be talking about competition in intimate relationships. What does it look like, competition? Well, in my therapist room, I often see the couples start to talk over each other and say one person cut the other person off, or they just talk over each other. There's no room for me to get in and I have to pause them. And so, what are they talking about? They're so excited. I summarize the contents into three categories. So, the first one, I call it Don't Yuck My Yum. It is sharing views. It's my views versus your views. One example is, well, this is not what they're talking about in couple therapy, but I want to give you an example that's more silly and neutral. So let's say one person saying, I really like peanut butter and bananas together in sandwiches. It's one of my favorite kind. The other person say, yuck, peanut butter and bananas. Oh, for me, peanut butter and pickles, just delish. I like sandwiches like that. The other person is term saying, yuck, right? So the kids often say, don't yuck my yum, don't yuck my yum. It's like that. It's basically saying one person has a preference like this, and the other person's preference is different. So they think, is a competition. Is either my way or is this my view that's right or yours is viewed? Which one is better, right? So that is the don't yuck my yum conversation. The second type is more about stories. You will see in therapy room, one partner start to talk about, say, rehashing their fight, right? So go over what happened the other day, the conflict they had, and before they finish, the other person come and cut them off and to add details or correct them. No, it's not Thursday, it's Friday morning. Or no, it's not that you who said that. It's like you said this and I said that. No, this is not the right story, right? So this is like my story versus your story. So they spend a lot of time to get into the details, the nuances about who is right and wrong about the narration of what happened, and they start to ignore what's really happening here, what they're really fighting about, what is the conflict, what is the misalignment, right? So there are deeper issues underneath that. So that's the second version of their competition, is the my story versus your story. I hear it every week, every day, all the time. So the third type of the conversation they have is competing needs. Say one person started to talk about my needs. Well, that take a lot of prepping for me to probing and say, well, what are your desires? What do you want in a relationship? What are the needs you would like your partner to meet? When they finally relaxes and put their guard down to talk about their needs, like, well, I would like you, say, to pick me up from my work at night. I would like you to drive me to places, right? Because blah blah blah, my needs are. And the other person come in saying, well, what about my needs? My needs are not met, so I'm not meeting your needs. I'm not doing that for you. I know your love language is physical touch. I'm not touching you because you didn't do this thing for me, right? So competing needs conversation. Well, what do you think? Is there any fourth and fifth conversation that you can see when couples compete, right? So that's in my therapy room. Generally, the three types of competition I see. Outside of therapy room, I'm sure there are many. One thing I can think about is, say, if both people were very into games, board games, and they get competitive in games, and it's taking the pleasure of the play away, it become more like sports, competitive sports. Either I beat you or you beat me. We're the opposite team. This is not for fun. We're really serious. We got somebody needs to win. There will be blood. And if one person cannot win, and then they get really frustrated and become a sore moved, and this game they will never play again. And then it's not a source of connection. It becomes a source of competition and frustration that created a lot of disconnection and isolation for each person. So another form is I call it do it twice. So one example would be, say, if one person has a particular way of loading the dishwasher, and then they want it to always be that way, and they think that's ultimate way of loading the dishwasher is the most efficient way, is the perfect way, this is the way. And if their partner have a strong difference on that, and they decide to undo it every night, they're like, this doesn't go. This cup collects water when you put it that way. The knife shouldn't be pointing up that way. So they come in to redo it every time you do it, just to make a point that their way is better. That become a competition. And you can see both of them are wasting a lot of time and energy into making sure their way is the best way. That is not really productive, right? And it's also not collaborative. So this is a silly example, but it does happen. And it could be about a dishwasher. It could be about composting. It could be about what's the best way to pick up the children. What is the best route to drive from destination to destination? It could be anything. So can you think about in your life with your partner, or maybe somebody else that you're working with, your friends, your children, your boss, your employee or your coworker, that this happens, that the competition comes in and is a really waste of resources for the both of you, and you're not connecting. It hurts your relationship. So then you may say, well, then competition is a bad thing in relationship, right? Well, not necessarily. Well, in my opinion, it's the developmental stage of your relationship. So think about at the beginning when you're dating, right? And everything is like so like looking through the pink, rosy glasses, everybody gets along. The reality is you don't tell the other person what you're really thinking and feeling, right? So if you're on a date with someone and you're eating sandwiches and your date tells you, wow, let me tell you, I really, really love pickles with peanut butter in sandwiches. It's so yummy for me. And then you are thinking, that is so odd. You're a weirdo. Would you share with that person? You probably won't, because you want to have a second date, right? So similarly, you may really feel strongly about not having children, for example, but you wouldn't tell the other person, even though they tell you they want to have children badly. You may say later, but on the first day, you may think, well, I don't get a second date. Maybe we can talk about it and work it out. So you hide some part of you. Could be small, it could be big at the beginning of a relationship, which is normal. Everybody does that. So you join each other on similarity. So you feel you have enough similarity, you can continue to connect and see each other. Otherwise, the experience is not pleasant. People just don't want to spend time and energy and engage in that relationship anymore, right? So it makes sense. But as the relationship grow, you start to feel more comfortable with each other. And at some point, you got to show different aspect of you to the other person. And everybody has the need and desire to be seen for who they are and to get accepted, acknowledged, and supported and heard, and help you to explore, why do I feel that way and think that way? Why is that not my needs, right? In intimate relationships, that's intimacy. That's how you grow together. That's how you connect. But how do you do it in a way that doesn't throw the other person off and you actually become very adversarial, and it's like a you versus me, somebody needs to win situation, right? So I do have a simple 3-step tip for you. I use it all the time with my mediation clients, with my co-parenting clients, with my couples therapy clients, with my own children when they have conflicts. It's very easy. It's an adaptation from the functional subgrouping, from the system-centered therapy. It goes like this. First, you simply repeat or summarize what you hear from the other person. So you want to acknowledge they're sharing, they're taking a risk to share a part of them, and it's valid for them, even though you don't agree. You don't need to agree. It has nothing to do with you, right? Say our example about sandwiches. You can say, I hear you like peanut butter and pickle together in sandwiches. And I hear you say that you really like the texture of peanut butter. It's very nutty and it's flavorful. You like the one, with the nuts in it, crunchy one. And you also like it's fatty. It's satisfying, right? When you have a craving for fat. So that goes well with the carb. And then the second step is to join them as much as you can for the similarity. Say if you like peanut butter and banana sandwiches, you don't like pickles at all. You can say, well, I also have to say, I'm in your tribe. I really like the fatty, nutty sensation, flavor of the peanut butter on the sandwiches. It's very good for a day when I'm tired or stressed, right? So you're actually connecting on your similarities. And then, but you are so dying to tell them how much you don't like the pickles and you like banana instead. You can ask, you can say, hey, can I talk about something that's maybe different from your preference? Are you open to hear that? And if the other person says, sure, since you did such a good job and telling me what I like and you really get me, I'm really happy to hear what do you have that's different from me. I want to learn who you are as a person as well. You can say, well, I don't particularly like the texture of pickles, especially it's so tart. I don't think it goes well with the fat. Actually, maybe not. If you put mayo and pickles together, I actually like it. So it's not about the fat and the tartness together. I think it's just in my opinion, nut butter and pickles just don't go together. I think nut butters and fruits go better, which banana is a fruit. It's also creamy and sweet. I got it. It's the sweet and the nuttiness together I like. So here we go. You talk about your difference. But you also connected with the other person, the similarities as for the peanut butter. You're having conversation. So the two of you discovered what you like about peanut butter banana sandwich or peanut butter pickle sandwich. You're rating based on textures, the flavors, right? What's the effect of this food bring to you, why you like, you don't like certain things. You even compared. You're having a conversation, very rich conversation, right? That could be easily go for 5 to 10 minutes about this sandwich. And you're all disclose a part of who you are as a person. So that's connection. That's integrating your differences. Are you competing? You're not. You're sharing. You're opening. You are really finding this moment of intimacy together. So that's just a silly and simple example. I hope that you can use that and apply that in other aspects of your life, that having more difficult conversations. All right, until next week, my friends. Bye.